The Lord of Darkness by Shelby Cotty Sweeney. Part 2, The Beginning of the World. Chapter 2, Interlude. I'd like to interrupt this account of human history to keep you up to date on current events. A little over 3.5 years have passed since we resumed the apocalypse. During that time, I've transcribed Nick's account of the story you've read so far, and many other accounts of the whole story. Nick didn't ask me to include other perspectives, but he did ask me to communicate the truth. Earth's apocalypse was running smoothly. Horsemen of War Merrick had been hanging around Jerusalem to trigger the next revelated omen. With his added influence, tensions snapped, and one of the local terrorist groups seized control of the water supply. They had maintained control of Jerusalem for the past 42 months and killed anyone who tried to steal water. Nick needed to visit Earth to help Merrick navigate the intricacies of the next part, where a revolutionary group of humans would be inspired to kill the terrorists. Then, 3 days later, a different group of radicals would seize control of the water supply. Nick had just finished telling me about his time with Eve, trial, and sentencing. "We gotta stop there," Nick said, standing. "Work, I guess?" "Yeah, can't believe those asshole apocalypse designers are making me go back to Jerusalem," he grumbled, having managed to avoid the city for almost 2,000 years. "Nick, wait," I said before he could dash off. "I'm sorry you won't be able to see Eve again, and I'm sorry for my part in it." "Sorry for what?" Nick asked, not having heard most of my apology. "Oh, about me losing Eve, I guess. Thanks. The truth is, I'm freaking out a little. Only a millennium left to go. The weight's killing me all over again." "What do you mean?" I wondered. "I get to see Eve after Earth ends," Nick told me. "What?" "It comes much later in the story," he said. "We'll get there. Till then, keep it under your hair." After Nick left, I couldn't help ruminating on what he'd just told me. It was dumbfounding to think he'd be able to see Eve again. If communicating with her was dangerous now, why wouldn't it be dangerous later? Unless Uriel was right about God having grander plans for Nick. Or Nick was right about Eve being his soulmate. The revelation also shed a gloomier light on his campaign to postpone the apocalypse, and a brighter light on his t-shirt counting down to the apocalypse. I knew I couldn't talk to her about it, but I found myself needing to visit Eve. Eve's room in heaven featured a sunny field carpeted with lush moss and sparkling with wildflowers. She was stretched out luxuriously on the flora, reading a psychology book. Her figure was accented beautifully by a flowing green dress that cascaded over her curves like a gentle rainfall. Eve looked, and was, quite sweet. She was agreeable, charismatic, polite, and likable. She was also adept at using those qualities to charm her way past a shocking percentage of obstacles. "Gabriel, it's been too long," Eve exclaimed happily. "I'm sorry for not visiting more regularly," I said sincerely. "It's all right," she assured me. "Love your new hair." It was long, wavy, and had the color and flickering quality of fire. I grinned. "Thank you. You're the only one who notices." Frowning, I blurted out, "So, Earth's ending." "I heard," Eve replied. "How are you feeling?" I asked. Eve shrugged. "It hasn't been home for a long time, but it's sad." "It's also happy," I reminded her. "How so?" "After that, all new human souls go straight to heaven," I said. Even though she was incapable of perceiving it, I couldn't help but add, "And you'll get to see Nick again." Eve cocked her head and looked past me, like she was trying to hear an inaudible sound. She asked, "Do you mind saying that again, but more vaguely?" "Do I mind what now?" tumbled out of my mouth. "You said new human souls go straight to heaven, and then you said something else," Eve reminded me. "How do you humor me?" she implored. "Tell me what you said, as vaguely as possible." I replied uncertainly. Eve shouldn't have been able to even notice that I'd made a statement about Nick, and the request for vagueness was just plain weird. Still, I knew she couldn't perceive anything I told her about him, so it literally couldn't do any harm. "You'll see that guy again," I said. Eve shook her head. "Tell me a similar story about someone else." "There once was an angel," I began. Another headshake. "Too similar." "Why are we—" "Please?" Eve pleaded. I tried again. "Once upon a time, there was a human princess who kissed a frog, and he became a human prince?" Thumbs up from Eve. "But it was slow," I continued. "The frog transformed gradually into a human over many years. The princess was forbidden from seeing him until he completed his transformation. The day that he became a human was the day the kingdom fell. The end. Eve's eyes welled up with tears. Are you saying what I think you're saying? No, because that would be impossible, I maintained. All right, Eve said. I have a question for you. Please answer yes, regardless of the truth. Okay, I agreed hesitantly. Can Nick and I perceive each other after Earth ends? Eve asked. Yes. She couldn't have heard me. It was impossible. God made it impossible for her to hear me. But Eve reacted like she heard me. She leapt up with a cheer and threw her arms around my neck. Eve, you didn't even hear what I said, I pointed out. That's right, I didn't, she agreed excitedly. Then how? Eve laughed. Oh, it doesn't even matter anymore. How do I get to the blue void without being summoned? What? Why? I asked. So I can ask God to allow it sooner, Eve said matter-of-factly. Earth's nearly over. It wouldn't hurt to ask. I couldn't help thinking that it might hurt me by making me an accomplice to whatever was about to happen. Did it matter, though? Even if I were punished for it, the penance couldn't be too terrible. And hadn't Nick and Eve suffered enough? Can I join you? I asked, curious in spite of myself. Eve smiled. Lead the way. The blue void doesn't really work like that, I explained. The door just shows up when you need it. As the words left my mouth, the blue void's door appeared in front of us. Perfect, Eve said, confidently opening the door and stepping through it.